Week 9 of the fantasy football season. Here's the top 12 defense DST units I'm ranking this week. Number 1, the Los Angeles Rams. So this Ram defense, the last couple of weeks, starting to get things going. They're coming off a bye week, and the Rook Tyler show is going to start for this New Orleans Saints team. So New Orleans last week, they got shut down, held to only 3 points, gave up a bunch of sacks, a couple turnovers in that game versus Tampa Bay. And I think the Rams, with the rookie coming in his first career start, Los Angeles, they're going to go out there and have a big game. Number 2, staying in the same state of Los Angeles, but this is the Los Angeles Chargers going to Tennessee. Khalil Mack, he returned to the lineup. He was causing havoc in that ball game in Week 8 versus the Minnesota Vikings. And this week in a great matchup at the Tennessee Titans, one of the worst offenses in the league where they can't move the football, they can't put points on the board. And Los Angeles this week, like I said, with Khalil Mack back in the lineup, he's going to get some pressure in this ball game on Cam Ward. And Tennessee, for the most part, their best offensive weapon all season long has been Joey Slye kicking field goals. So I think the Chargers going to Tennessee have a good ball game. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. So this Packer DST, they've had a couple hiccups here and there this season. Early in the year, 40-40 tie ended up with Dallas. Then also as well, even Joe Flacco and the Bengals put up points versus them in Flacco's for art. And even Arizona took them to the limit, 27-23. The Packers held on that ball game. But this week, Carolina coming in. We'll see if it's going to be Bryce Young or Andy Dalton. But to me, it doesn't matter who's the quarterback for the Panthers. I think Micah Parsons and this defense, they're going to get at it. And even last week, Rodgers and the Steelers offense, they held to field goals majority of that game. So I think Green Bay this week in a plus matchup and back home in Lambeau Field is a good option. Number 4, the Denver Broncos. So I know Patrick Surtain, he's going to be out. He's on IR, but this is a good matchup at Houston where they don't have a lot of offensive weapons. Besides Nico Collins and Woody Marks, it's a lot of young wide receivers, even though they definitely stepped up last week and made plays. And Dalton Schultz and C.J. Stroud, unfortunately, over the last couple seasons, he's taken a step back after he had a monster rookie year a few years ago. So Denver, they get to the quarterback. They make some big plays when they need to, even with Surtain out. Nico Collins, yeah, he'll have some numbers in this game, but I still think Denver's defense, they're going to get the sacks, create a few turnovers, and could hold Houston in the mid-teens, low 20s. Number 5, the New England Patriots. So the Falcons are coming in. And last week with Kirk Cousins in their quarterback, and they couldn't do anything versus one of the worst defenses in the league of the Miami Dolphins. And I know Bijan Robinson, he got bottled up in that game. He didn't do anything where I expect Bijan to bounce back in this one. But New England, they're a great coach team. Obviously, Mike Vrabel, a defensive-minded coach, obviously, as well. And this week, going into Gillette could be tough for Atlanta. So I think New England could go out there once again, get a few sacks in this ball game, create a couple turnovers, and another defense where mid-teens, low 20s as well. Number 6, the Detroit Lions. So J.J. McCarthy looks like he's going to be the starting quarterback for this Minnesota Viking team. And McCarthy, obviously, last season missed the whole year with injury. This season, he only played in 2 games. Then he's been out since week 2 is J.J. McCarthy. So not a lot of reps, not a lot of game time, obviously, for J.J. McCarthy. And I think Detroit, coming off a bye week, back home once again, division rival, they could go out there and they could make it a long game for J.J. McCarthy, where he's going to take some sacks in this one and a few turnovers as well. Number 7, the Houston Texans. So this Texan team, one of the more underrated defenses in the league, led by Anderson and Derek Stingley in the secondary. So Denver, their offense has been riding high, scoring 75 points in the last 2 games. But those were bad defenses in the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. And those were both home games for Denver, where their offense don't travel, obviously, as well on the road to Denver. Like I said, their offense is solid. Bo Nix, got Dobbins, Harvey in the backfield, got Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Evan Ingram. So it's a good offense, obviously. But I think Houston, we've seen them versus good offenses where they shut you down for the most part, and they're going to make you earn every point. So this week, I think the Texans could go out there and be a decent defensive unit. Number 8, the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seahawks team, they're going to give up their points, but also as well, they're an explosive defense where they could score touchdowns and get to the quarterback and create sacks. So this week, Sunday Night Football at the Commanders, Jaden Daniels back in the lineup. We'll see if Terry McLaurin is going to play after he left the game in Week 8 at the Kansas City Chiefs. But Seattle, they could get to the quarterback. They can make plays in the secondary. And this week here, I think they'll make a few plays even if Jaden Daniels goes out there and he's still going to get his points. Number 9, the San Francisco 49ers. So San Francisco last week with a depleted offense of the Houston Texans. They couldn't go in there and get the job done, and now they're going into New York with a depleted offense. Obviously, Scatterbo now out for the season. Neighbors out for the season, even though he's been out since early in the year for this Giant team. And we'll see if Robert Saleh could get this defense to make some plays versus the rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, who's been great, besides the one game last week in Philadelphia where he couldn't get anything going. So now with more tape on Jackson Dart, obviously not a lot of great options in the offense. Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, his top two receivers, Tracy in the backfield, Theo Johnson at the tight end position. I think San Francisco, with schemes and disguises in this game, could go out there and surprise. And if their offense could get off to a good start and try to make the Giants a little bit one-dimensional, that could help as well. Number 10, the Indianapolis Colts. I know the Colts, they're going to give up mid-20s, low 30s more weeks than not. But with their offense, these teams get a lot of garbage time on Indianapolis. But their defense, one thing they do is get to the quarterback and create turnovers. And we know Aaron Rodgers, 41 years old, you get a hand on him, he's going to go down and take a sack. His mobility's obviously not there at his age and coming off an Achilles injury a few seasons ago, tearing it when he's with the Jets. So I think Indianapolis, if they could get off to a good start and make this team one-dimensional and abandon the run at times, this is where their defense comes into play and could put up some good numbers. Number 11, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars do crack the top 12, but their one-week streaming option is Jacksonville. A good matchup at the Vegas Raiders. Geno Smith, he's been a turnover machine all season long. And I know Jacksonville, they do give up a lot of points, but it's one thing they do good as well as they pick off the quarterback and create turnovers. So Jacksonville coming off the bye, maybe a little bit refreshed, and they were 4-1, now 4-3. They got to get things going a little bit. And I think this week at Vegas, this defense can help them in this one. And the 12th and final DST I'm ranking is the Kansas City Chiefs. I know it's a tough matchup going into Buffalo, but they've seen Josh Allen so many times. I think in this one, they're going to try to shut down James Cook in this ball game, where we've seen Cook run wild all season long, and make Allen try to beat him with limited weapons on the outside. Besides Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid, no one else has done anything. Keon Coleman had one good game all season long, pretty much week one versus Baltimore. Palmer, he hasn't done much all season long, and Kincaid even at times has disappeared. So Kansas City, one of the better defenses in the league, and Steve Spagnuolo, obviously one of the better defensive minds and coordinators in the league. So that's the top 12 defense DST units I'm ranking for week 9 of the fantasy football season.